Hello, I'm Chris Williams from Read Comics They're Bad For You, the name of my YouTube channel. Or if you're watching this on Library or BitChute, the name of my channels on those two websites is Comic Freak. We're going to be talking about how Kathleen Kennedy is intent on basically ruining The Mandalorian. Otherwise, the only thing that is actually good about Star Wars right now. But then again, people already have problems with The Mandalorian saying it's just a boring western in space. But let's read this article and see how and when this series is going to come out with a new season and whether or not it's going to be bad or not. Rumors surrounding The Mandalorian surface in regards to Baby Yoda, the Emperor Rey, and Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. The rumors come from the future ruler of the Earth, Doomcock, on YouTube, who previously leaked details about Rise of Skywalker and who was responsible for those initial rumors about Disney losing confidence in Brie Larson and Captain Marvel, and the recent Star Trek disaster rumor. And the new Doomcock rumors are pretty damn bad because it looks like Kathleen Kennedy wants to use The Mandalorian to basically help her flagging career. And, well, as I heard about it, a lot of people aren't happy with this. And basically, the director, Jon Favreau, as well as his cohorts have basically asked Bob Iger to basically make sure Kathleen Kennedy keeps her mitts off of The Mandalorian. And considering what Doomcock has basically said before, I'm inclined to believe him about this. Especially about how the current rumors about Star Trek look to be proving to be quite true. So I have to say what I've heard about and read about what Kathleen Kennedy wants to do with The Mandalorian probably will be proven to be true. And I have to say I'm sad to see another good show, even if I don't really want to watch it because I've heard it's just a mediocre western, go down the route where it's basically used and basically made to be a retcon in order to help the Rise of Skywalker. The rumor claims that Kathleen Kennedy wanted to originally tie in The Mandalorian to Rise of Skywalker, and in particular to Emperor Palpatine and Rey. Kennedy wanted to use The Mandalorian to explain how Palpatine survived, how he built up his army, how he managed to construct his fleet, basically retconning and explaining the awful details in The Rise of Skywalker that was never addressed. It said the initial batch for The Mandalorian was that while looking for Baby Yoda's home, the Mandalorian is hired to search for someone's missing loved one, and that quest would lead into Palpatine retcon's storyline. And as I said, they want to turn the Mandalorian into basically a way to basically explain the retcons and the Rise of Skywalker, and this is complete and trite storytelling here. You're basically tying a story that has its own plot and basically putting it into this storyline because you have no other way to explain what happened in the main series of Star Wars films. And this is just going to make The Mandalorian bad because the storyline will suffer because it has to follow its own beats and not be tied down to this silliness that Kathleen Kennedy wants to do with it. This is just going to make The Mandalorian a bad show because it'll make the plot far too fat to fit within the show itself. It'll just have a bunch of stuff that none of the characters in the show will possibly have anything relating to them with. I mean, why would The Mandalorian have anything to do with Palpatine? You're just going to contrive a way for him to end up on Exegol and basically, fight the Emperor? Won't he just die? I mean, this is what makes it nonsense. He's just a Mandalorian. He is basically just a man. Why would you have him go up against the Emperor? The rumor claims Jon Favreau wasn't all happy with Kennedy's approach, so he enlisted George Lucas and they went above Kennedy to Disney CEO Bob Iger, which resulted in Kennedy being distanced from The Mandalorian. It's also been said that Kennedy has been banned from the Season 2 set, though this rumor says Kennedy is still somewhat involved and attends meetings. It's claimed that Kennedy still wants to move forward with the story that the child is actually a reborn Yoda, something Iger is said to have been on board with. Iger recently stepped down as Disney CEO, but that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni don't like the idea and are attempting to get it changed. I would say, yeah, they should get it changed. Yoda has only been dead a few decades. The child is supposed to be 50 years old. How are you supposed to retcon that, huh? It's stupid. Kathleen Kennedy is basically a cancer, and I would say that Bob Iger, even though was her boss, he wasn't that much better than her. But hey, what Jon Favreau and George Lucas were able to do was get Kathleen Kennedy out of The Mandalorian, so it looks like this series will just continue to be good. But the fact that Kathleen Kennedy still wants to move ahead with her plans just shows you just why she needs to get out of her job and be sent somewhere else. I mean, that should be blatantly obvious. It's said the child will not be called Yoda, but as time goes on, he will be able to recall his past. It's further said the storyline will be used to justify the existence of Rey, with the reasoning being that the Force puts people where they need to be. It's said the Force puts Yoda back into play because he is needed, and that is why Baby Yoda doesn't need any training, which also applies to Rey as the Force wills it. Oh, that is such bull. So if Kennedy gets her way, the Mandalorian will be used to justify Rey in the Disney Star Wars films as a Mary Sue. And that's why it will fail, and you will bring the entire Star Wars franchise down as well, because that is shitty writing as I've ever seen it. She wants to justify Rey being a Mary Sue in the most idiotic way imaginable. And the fact that Rey is a Mary Sue has basically been confirmed by her own words, because she wants to basically say, this woman is awesome and can do anything, no matter how stupid or basically, well, completely unwatchable the movie is. She wants to justify Mary Sue Rey because that's the only way she can think of basically saving her career or basically promoting her politics. I don't know which, because certainly she has no career left anywhere now, especially after she's out on the street living on it. That's what she's going to be doing because of this. Honestly, Kathleen Kennedy can't get her head around we want characters to be able to struggle and basically triumph in the end. She doesn't understand that, and that is the reason why the Star Wars franchise is failing. The rumor also notes that production surrounding The Mandalorian Season 2 is really positive and that Favreau is well liked, so we'll have to wait and see how things play out. And that Star Wars seems to be in really good hands with Favreau and Filoni, who are both also rumored to be taking over Star Wars. Worth a note is that I am also guessing Kathleen Kennedy will be gone when her contract expires next year, as Iger is also basically gone from Disney, and Steven Spielberg recently departed from Lucasfilm's Indiana Jones 5. Kennedy is a longtime producer on the Indiana Jones flick, so do the math. I am guessing Kennedy's involvement with Lucasfilm and Star Wars is on a limited basis. I would have to say she has to be as limited as possible because, well, she is certainly no brain surgeon, because of her ideas that basically just plowed the ground under the Star Wars franchise and basically made no one want to watch it. Because what I'm seeing Kathleen Kennedy wanting to do with The Mandalorian, jeez, it's unbelievable that anyone would have given her the power to have anything to do with Star Wars at all. Because 5 minutes of talking to her, and I can't believe that anyone would trust her to head any kind of franchise, because her ideas just blow. I mean, every one of her ideas is just basically fallen by the wayside. The Rise of Skywalker is considered one of the worst and lowest grossing Star Wars films ever. Once again, everyone can see that the only reason Star Wars The Force Awakens was one of the highest grossing movies of all time was because it was riding on that wave of goodwill and of the original prequels and trilogy series that had been made by George Lucas. That's no wonder that it had made all that money. But did Kathleen Kennedy do anything with that goodwill? No, she completely squandered it. Disney destroyed the Star Wars franchise, and I can only hope that in the future there will be no more Star Wars movies. Why not just put it on the back burner or just sell it off to someone else? Because it's obvious that Disney can't possibly handle something like the Star Wars movies because they're just not equipped for it. I would say the same of the MCU, but we're only beginning to see that happen with it. If you like this video, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed because YouTube is going around unsubscribing people, so make sure you're still subscribed. If you're watching my videos but you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Read Comics They're Bad For You. Then go over to Library and BitChute and subscribe to my channels on those two websites. They're both named Comic Freak. Hit that bell for notifications, hit that like button, and leave some comments down below. And if you could you also please share this video, share it on Twitter, share it on Reddit, and share it on Facebook. Share it anywhere you think it'll do the most good because YouTube is not going around promoting their own YouTube creators anymore. So please share this video. Now listen closely. keep checking back in all my future videos for more information on my own upcoming independent comic book Scumdogs. I'm Chris Williams, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another video or review.